But if you're curious, I am making crowns right now. As you can see, this is one I made yesterday. Hey! And this is one I made, I don't know how long ago. But basically, actually, oh my god, I think I made this 10 years ago. This one right here. It's 2023. Wow, yeah, I made this 10 years ago. That was like the first time I started making crowns like that. I mean, I probably made them from other stuff when I was younger, but I actually started making them and, you know, like they were my products. But anyway, yeah, I had a whole business making and creating and styling, and I just kind of fell off. I went to college, got a degree, but they basically were telling me what I was doing was not, thank you. But yeah, I went to college and they told me, like, basically, they told me what I should do, and I didn't know and realize that it's my job as the creator to tell them, oh, thank you, I appreciate your input, but this is what I'm gonna do. And I noticed when I thought back to it, probably like years later or months later, I don't know, but like there were certain students who always did well no matter what, and I remembered what they were doing. And I remember the first time they told people what they were doing, everybody was just like, oh my god, you want to do that? Damn. And they would just do it anyway. And their shit always turned out amazing. And I realized, oh girl, you needed a backbone. Because before I went to college, I was already designing. I already had a runway show. I already made it, had models and all that stuff. I was already doing it. So I went to college and let these people tell me who I was, and then stopped doing it completely because I was so disgusted with working in the fashion industry and seeing how people were. So I just stepped away from my whole craft just because of other people. And I'm like, girl, what the fuck? Like, do your own thing. But yeah, that little story of why I stopped creating the way I used to, it just goes to show as a reminder, or like, you know, little analogy, I shouldn't say little, but as an analogy, that do what the f you want. Like, don't tell people, or don't let people tell you who you are and what you should do. I am such a big believer in that, because even when I try to do what people tell me to do, it never works out for me because I am not them and I think very differently. And I am an experience-oriented person. I don't really enjoy listening to other people's experiences and not being able to relate for myself. So I realize what happens is they'll tell me like why this worked, why this didn't work. And usually if it's like why it didn't work, I'm like, oh, interesting. I have no experience that can relate to that, so I'm gonna have to experience this for myself and understand why you think it won't work or it doesn't work. And that's just who I am, and that's what I came here to do, I guess, apparently. Because no matter how hard I try not to do that, I always end up doing that anyway. So I'm gonna just stop fighting who I am and what I came here to do. So back to making crowns it is. And when I was thinking about it, probably yesterday, because I made this one yesterday. Yeah. I was trying to think, like, why am I so obsessed with making crowns? Because the other thing about going to school for design is that, you know, they teach you how to design clothes. So I know how to design and craft and make clothing, but I don't enjoy it. And one of the first things that people do once they know I can sew, and I can pattern make, and I can drape, they expect me to do it. And I'm like, just because I can do it doesn't mean I want to do it. And I fought with myself about that for a long time, because I'm like, I'm really out here buying people's clothes when I can make my own. But here's the thing. I learned that I don't enjoy making clothes. I enjoy creating experiences. And the clothes that we are expected to wear in the world, like out in the world, they're not an experience. Like, what I do, that's why I like styling, because when I take these clothes that are already made, I can make them an experience by how I put them together. And that's what's fun for me. But the type of stuff I like to make, people don't wear. I shouldn't say they can't, but they don't wear on a regular basis. They literally wear it to like galas or photo shoots, music videos type stuff. Like, it's like costumes, And I'm fine with that. I like to be engulfed in that kind of a world where it's like, it's okay to wear costumes, it's okay to be a fantasy character. So if that's not everyday life, I'm not finna wear, or I'm not finna make everyday life clothes for people. Sorry. So almost every family member had to go through that speech with me. All my friends had to go through that speech with me. And it was so beautiful to make friends that were actually from the school I went to design for, because the ones that I still have, we feel that way still. Where people will ask us to make things for them, and we're just like, I don't want to make clothes for you. No offense to you, but I don't want to make clothing that you are going to wear to a party or for your birthday or something. Like, unless you're going to wear something like this, then sure. And I was talking to a friend of mine that was telling me that I should get into a certain space where there are people who are performers and make things for them. And so I'm like doing my little bit of due diligence to understand this particular space. And, as I get my feet wet and figure out how I feel about it, and if it's for me, then you'll probably hear about it. But until then, it's just about figuring out your own stuff. Like, who are you? What do you want to do? What do you like to make, create, and offer to people? What do you like to offer to people? And so when I was thinking about why I like to make crowns, I'm like, because first of all, apparently, like, if you're into astrology and stuff, like, I have a lot of, or my ascendant is a Leo, so I should just admit that. And because of that, like, I hear a lot of like regal energy that these types of people carry. I think as this type of person, I don't really see it on myself. So because I don't see it on myself, I don't really pay that much attention to if I'm carrying that type of energy or not. But when I thought about it, I'm like, honestly, that makes kind of sense, because of all the things that I like to create, and I make other things, like obviously this is like a bodice or breast piece, whatever you want to call it, that's made out of gold leaves with a lot of glitter, a lot of sparkle. And I enjoyed making that and wearing that when I finally worked up the courage to wear it out. I was so proud, and I was still a little meek about saying I made it, but like, if someone asked where I got it, for sure. But I enjoy baking crowns the most, and I'm like, why? And I thought about it, and I'm like, it's because if you have a crown, you carry yourself a certain way, and you feel powerful. And if you feel powerful, you feel strong, you kind of almost know who you are. And there's like no way to, I don't want to say there's no way that people can tell you who you are, but it's like, it's less likely for you to be able to allow them to force who you are on you. And I feel like, I don't know, you're more likely to be like, that's nice, I appreciate, you know, your thoughts on this and what I should and shouldn't do. Thanks. And you just keep doing your own shit. And so when I think about it, I'm like, I shouldn't force myself to make things I don't really enjoy making. Why don't I just keep making crowns? Because I like making crowns. Just make crowns because you wanna. Make what you want, you know? So you were literally witnessing that realization in real time. I realized I want to make crowns. I'm gonna make crowns. So I'm making crowns. And I will make them until I feel like I want to make something else. But there's no pressure. I'm also listening to music, and there's a song by an artist, I don't want to pronounce her name wrong, but it's Mayyaddda. I'm gonna say Mayada. That's how I think it's pronounced. But there's a song that she has called Unapologetically, and that's playing right now. I'm like, that's a perfect song. Like, if you have a moment and if you like, you know, to try other people's music. I love putting people on to new artists and new songs. But anyways, I feel like this song is like perfect for what I was just talking about, because it's literally saying be yourself unapologetically be yourself. And that's how I feel. Like, we're not born to just be clones, or else, I mean, well, I guess that depends on what you believe. But anyway, I choose to believe that no matter how I came about or how my ancestors came about, I'm still, and you still, we're still being created today. We're still being made today. So there's a reason, and there's a reason why certain people have certain likes, enjoyments, and gifts. Certain people are good at certain things, they don't even know they're good at it. But you see it and you're not, so you appreciate it, right? If this person is good at something and they don't notice it, but they enjoy doing it, there's a reason, no? Because if you can't do it, if I can't do it, but they can, they're good at it, and we're willing to, you know, take part in whatever they're doing, making, providing, teaching, then I think that's a good clue that that's a reason why they're here. Like, that's a, if they don't want to see it as a reason why they're here, then just see it as a way to be appreciated for being here. Especially if you enjoy doing what you're doing. Might as well share it with people who enjoy it too. That's how I see it. I feel like the other thing too about creating things like this, maybe not just crowns, because like obviously I'm making, well, I made a bodice too that I enjoyed wearing, but like that bodice covers essentially a part, or like actually all if it's like a breastplate, it's covering up here, it's covering your heart, you know, and like your heart center. And if I think about me, how I'm like pretty emotional person, or at least I've been told that, and because I've been told that, I used to hide it. I used to do my best to hide it. Oh my god, wow, I used to hide it, try to hide it so much, and that's just not fun. I feel like we wouldn't have emotions if we weren't supposed to. So you know, like whatever you have, you're supposed to have, and take that however you want, but like whatever you have, you're supposed to have. That's how I feel. And so with that being said, people out here trying to suppress, repress, and, you know, limit their emotions, it's like, sure, don't let it control you. I understand that, and I'm learning how to do that, right? But to be out here hiding them and like not even knowing you have, like, what the hell? Like, people out here not even feeling, not feeling. How are you living and you're not feeling, bro? Like, that sounds like death, but not death. And so you might as well just call yourself ill or sick, diseased, whatever. But like, you know, that just doesn't sound like you're alive. And it's not to laugh about it, but it's just like, how people don't see that, how people don't process that, peep that, realize that, I don't know. I don't understand, because I'm just like I don't know if there's any baby that ever came into this world not feeling anything, you know? Like, there's some people that are more subdued than others, sure, but to be out here just not feeling your emotions. And the thing about it is, I get it, because I remember I said I used to do that too, or at least I used to try. I wasn't really successful at it because I could only like hide my emotions or like dull them down but so long before they just erupted. So that's that. But what I will say is that, and I'm still working on this, I'm practicing this now, is that not feeling and not, you know, acknowledging your emotions, for me, what that caused me to do was dissociate a lot, like so much, that I could be anywhere and not there. I'm not really there. And I thought I recovered or stopped doing that. I didn't know that was an issue anymore until very recently, where it's like, you know, when you're trying to be better, do better, heal from certain things. So things that you hadn't seen or noticed for a long time, they have to come up in a way where you'll notice them so that you can actually fix them. So I've been presently dissociating a lot, and I'll notice it and I'll have to like breathe to just kind of come back to me. But like right now, like in this moment, I feel like 80% present. I think that's a little low. Maybe like 89. Let's say 89% present, because I'm doing something I enjoy doing. I think what will help me feel a little bit more present and grounded, first of all, being on the floor. I had said that earlier, that normally, like actually yesterday, that this gold one that I made, I was on the floor when I made it. So I was crisscrossed, and you know, I just felt more connected to my body. And so I think, you know, the positions that we're in definitely play a part. Also, I don't remember if I had, but I was wearing perfume. Was I? I don't remember. I was smelling something. I was smelling some fragrance, and that also helps. Smelling, you know, scents that are pleasant to you help you to feel present. and in the moment. And what else? Breathing. I feel like, yeah, that makes sense now. Sitting in this chair, my stomach is not really expanding in a way that's comfortable for me to really breathe deeply. And that makes a difference with feeling present. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, practicing presence and being in the moment, at least for me, I believe it takes a lot of sensations, like scents, feelings, smells, anything that has to do with your five senses plus, because we have more. And again, bringing in the crown into the situation, into the conversation. Your crown center, or your crown chakra, is something that helps with knowing. And I feel like wearing, first of all, they tell you you're supposed to protect your crown. So you're supposed to put something over your head, on your head. But I feel like, I don't know, for me, putting beautiful things on my head, in a way, feels like it activates my crown chakra a little bit too. Probably not a little bit, probably a lot. I'm downplaying this. But it's because I'm not really paying attention fully what I'm saying. And I want, be conscious of what I could be saying. But yeah. I don't know, I kind of want to tell people, like, just try wearing crowns. Just put some crown on your head. I like how this looks with this hair. If you feel like in your life there are things that you're struggling with, maybe, or you feel like a victim a lot, like you have no control over what's happening to you, try putting on a crown. See how you feel. People who wear crowns in any life, they're always big decision makers. They always have more than their own life in their hands. They always have really grand responsibilities, and they're decision makers. So I feel like if I'm thinking about people, I'm thinking about, like, people who are in situations where they feel like they have no control over their life and they're victims to their circumstances. Like, when I felt like that, I wasn't making decisions. Like, I actually was hiding from making decisions because I didn't feel like I could trust my decisions. And which essentially meant that I didn't feel like I could trust myself. And again, I'm still practicing a lot of these things. But when I saw someone, I think her name is Crystal the Oracle on here, she was talking about people have it wrong when it comes to decision making. Like, you're not supposed to make a decision before you do something. You look at your choices, right? You pick one of the choices, and based on the experience that you have with the choice that you made, you make the decision after. And when that started to sink into my psyche. Like, and I understood it a little bit more. I was like, oh my God. It's the idea of making the wrong decision that's not even allowing me to make the choice. And if I don't make the choice, then I don't experience anything, and I cannot make a decision. So the longer you don't make decisions, like, there's people out here making all types of decisions. They're going to end up making a decision for you. And that's how you not making a choice, not choosing, will essentially be a choice in and of itself. It's just not a choice you actively made, which sucks, because it's like, if you're so afraid of making the wrong choice, you didn't even make a choice, that you made the wrong choice anyway. It's like, you know, it's like when people say, how does that saying go? Like, not asking is automatically a no. However, the saying goes, when you just don't ask, the answer is already no. But if you ask, there's a 50-50 chance that the answer is yes or no. It could be one or the other. But if you never ask, there is no 50-50 chance. It's 100% a no. You know? Let's see. All right. If you made it this far, then, you know, thanks. I'm just gonna give you a heads up now that I'm gonna focus on what I'm doing, because the music that's coming on right now in my ears is hitting. It's like perfect to whatever I'm saying and what I'm speaking about. And I just want to let these lyrics, you know, get deep into my psyche and help me open up my creative juices. So from this point on, I'm probably not gonna say much. Not intentionally. If I say anything, it's probably me not even noticing. I'm just in the flow. So speed up a little bit. And I'm gonna just let my spirit team talk to me through these lyrics and through what I'm doing. You know, whatever they want to say to me.